This is Sandeep, and we have some questions from the listening audience. One question is, what ways can this probably for you? What are the ways to deal with burnout before a startup launches?
Before it launches, first thing is you just have to realize that it's going to take longer and cost more, right? It's never going to be as easy as you think right at the beginning. So just come in with the realistic expectations at the beginning. This is going to be hard, right? The one quote that we had, right? It is not easy to do, and it takes a lot of time. So don't think that you're going to be done in 18 months. I made that mistake in the first startup, or that we said, oh yeah, 18 months, we're going to have this thing be on the moon, and it's going to be awesome. And 3 years later, led it through an acquisition. And then 6 years after that, finally decide to go and start a second one. So it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of energy, and build up the support system around you as well, right? Make sure that everyone in your life, your friends, your family, they realize that you're not going to be there in the same way that you were before, just as an employee somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. All right, Gaurav, second question for you. How do you recover from burnout while you continue to work?
Yeah, get out of your head. That's the advice I give all my friends, including myself, which is most of our work is cognitive. It requires us to think using our heads, and the brain is a glucose consuming thing. It runs out in 90 minutes flat. So find something that opens your heart, whether it's gardening or getting a dog or taking a break or singing, whatever it is that opens your heart, because that's truly the source of your energy. And that allows you to recover from whatever is going on at work.
All right, third question, that's good. So third question, probably I'll answer it myself. I'll synopsize the question. This is from a founder who is a single founder of the company. There are no co-founders. And this founder finds themselves giving a lot of advice and mentoring employees a lot. At times, it can be deemed micromanaging. I'm using this words out of the question. If you don't give input, it's too late. Harm is done. If you give too much or too early input, you're a micromanager kind of CEO. So that is a balance you have to strike. My first solution to you would be find a co-founder. Even if it is at the cost of 5%, 10% of the company. Yes, I started the company a year ago, but I meet Ken a year later, but he's a nice guy. I'll give him 10% of the company because it is a hugely beneficial thing for me and the company and everybody else who's invested in the company. So find a co-founder. If not, empower some of your employees to criticize you. You have to make it clear that the conversation is a two-way conversation. Not that I'm nitpicking, not that I'm advising you all the time. Show your weakness openly. I do this in my company all the time. Everybody knows where I screw up, and everybody in the company has a full, open door to come tell me I'm a moron, which I've been told on more than one occasion. And I go thank these people. At times, people thought this was a joke, but then I say, thank you for pointing out. I didn't know I was doing this wrong, or I was coming across as brusque or a micromanager or whatever else, or careless. There are various attributes that are attributed to you as a founder, but most people are not allowed, quote unquote, allowed to tell you that. So give your employees the freedom to criticize you, and they will give you the freedom of criticizing them.
Another question: is it true that successful founders work 100 hours per week? How is that sustainable?
It's not, right?
You cannot work that long.
So, yes, right. At the beginning, you have to, because there's just so much crud work that needs to get done just to get things up. So, but you go through these points where, yes, you do a sprint, right, at the beginning, because you have to just set up things, and there's no way around it. But you have to realize you can't sprint for 24 miles. So, you better start to pace yourself and, just figure out how to do that. I think, one of the keys that I use is we're in this 24/7 connected, always on world. And I think that's a huge detriment to everyone in the professional workspace, right? So knowing when to be on and when to be off. So for example, right, during quote normal work hours, we're always in communication on Slack. But afterwards, I won't send a Slack message after 6 p.m. I'll send an email because I want it to be asynchronous. I want people to be away, to not have to respond. And I hope that they respect the same for me.
I think this 100-hour thing is a myth. It goes back to this always on thing that you said, Ken. I have my phone on me. I replied for one email at 1 p.m. and I replied to the second email at 5 p.m. In my mind, I have worked 4 hours, right? Even though I was reading news and, wasting my time in the intermediate 4 hours, but I have worked 4 hours. And, maybe it's a show-off point, again, the machismo thing that all the guy CEOs had to go tell other people that I can, sleep less and work 100 hours or whatever and show up. I don't know. Maybe it's part of it is that.
Yeah. But you're channeling Bill Clinton here, which depends on what your definition of work is.
Depending on what is.
Ken, this question for you. How do we resolve important decisions such as letting go of employees or even teams without feeling guilty about it, especially in the early days?
Well, I guess from my side, it took a while for us to get funding. So we essentially had volunteers, right, helping us out. And I'm super grateful to everyone that helped us out, building things. And I guess the key point, whether, they're volunteers or they're paid, is people are people and you have to treat them with respect. And so, for example, I've done, a number of reference calls to help people find jobs because we were at a stage where we just couldn't pay. So at least I could help them with, mentoring, with training, with learning new skills, with helping them to achieve something professionally. And that's just, part of the deal here is, I need to somehow give you something back. And anytime that there, may have been strife, just being open and treating people with respect. And then I guess, the first rule is, first confess your sins. Right? Hey, I screwed up, right? I did something wrong. And, this is the impact that it's had, whether it's, not getting a client, not getting funding, something of that nature. And this is the best thing that we need to do for the company now. And, how can I help you as an individual contributor into the company?
One more question. This is regarding Vigyan, the founder we talked of, Avasky. The question is, if your house burns down, should you not just close the company and go away? What keeps you going? And I'll give you the answer Vigyan gave us when we were talking. That was not on the audio clip. He says, I'm a curious guy. I just keep persisting till I find the answer. My soul satisfaction, if you will, comes out of that curiosity. So what keeps you going is, again, different for different people. I guarantee you money is not that thing that'll keep you going, because money has an N+1 syndrome. Whatever goal you make, you will revise that for a higher number when you've reached your goal, so it's never satisfying. So whatever other curiosity or goodness of mankind or whatever it is, it has to be something else outside of that. And hence, burning down a house is not a showstopper, if you will. The show keeps going. One more question was, and probably this is the last one. Gaurav, maybe you can take this. Can you shed some light on how to empower employees to take more management load? They're not founders, but they're early employees. They also go through burnout, but how do we make them more productive and useful?
Part of the thing is to not treat them as coin-operated monkeys, which is to say that, look, they're here because also they buy into your vision. They're here because they buy into whatever it is that you're building. And the reason they're putting in more than what's required is because they buy into the overall plan. And if you haven't bought them into your vision, then they're going to burn out and leave anyway. So the way to avoid getting there is to make sure people see what you're seeing, are in their own way excited by what you're building, and are interested in participating in it.
All right. With that, we have come to the end of our allocated time.